Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today is day 17 of 30 Days of Sketches hosted by Christy's Beautiful Life. This is only the third layout I've been able to do this month. I was hoping to be able to play it around a lot more than I did, but Christy and a bunch of other ladies are doing this every single day this month, which is super impressive. But I am playing along today. You saw that sketch in the beginning. I loved how clean it was, but there's some really beautiful details in there, including stitch circles, clean lines, some banners, some scallop details. So that was all about this sketch. I am choosing a color scheme I haven't worked with in a while. I did that mega album flip a while ago and was looking at some of my older layouts, and the ones that caught my attention the most, I realized I don't do all that often anymore, but I really love to look at, are layouts where there's one color and then everything else is a neutral color. So a couple of my layouts I had done that I really loved was like an aqua layout that had a bunch of different browns and wood tones in it. Or a pink layout that had a bunch of different grays and whites in it. And I love that kind of layout. It's very soft, very pretty. And I decided since this sketch is very clean with some soft detail, it'd be a really fun one to kind of revisit that. So I went through my stash and just pulled out some scraps of some pink and this really beautiful floral paper that has pinks and grays in it already. And then I'm just going to be pulling in some white and gray details. So that is the gist of this one. I'm really trying to revisit an older style of mine, which is kind of more minimalistic embellishment, because back then I really didn't have a lot to embellish with. And then just some clean layers with some soft details. So that's my goal for this one. Right now I'm just trying to follow the sketch. I follow this sketch pretty much to a T. So I'm just trying to get all the layers down. But I definitely wanted this main floral that has the pattern and all the colors to be the main layer on this page. And then you can see I'm taking a pink striped paper to be a couple of the layers that are in the sketch. The sketch didn't have a layer on the bottom of the page, but I had a scrap of this stripe that I cut because I wanted the top piece to be a little skinnier, and I thought I might as well include it on the page. So I really like how that pattern is that big band in the middle of the page, but also the skinny band on the bottom. I really like that. There's already going to be a cluster in the lower right hand corner, so that kind of lends itself to that area. And then I am just matting both of these photos. I matted them in white, and I'm just going to stagger them how they are in the sketch. And then I need to get a banner and a scalloped detail. So that's pretty much all the paper I need to do. I was pretty pleased. I was able to pretty much exclusively use these pink scraps I had from, I believe it was Pineapple Crush from Heidi Swap. So these scraps were like scraps from my Hawaii pages I did a while ago that I've just been sitting in my stash since then. So I was really happy I got to use those. And this here is a branding strip from that collection. It's in the color scheme, so I figured I might as well use that for my scallop detail. So I'm just punching a little scallop with my little border punch there. That's going to go along the pink stripe and the gray floral. And then all I need is a banner pretty much. And then my paper layers will be done. But these photos are, again, from Cavalia. You guys have seen a lot of these by now. I know the photo quality of these aren't great, but this is like before iPhones were a thing. Or I'm sure iPhones were a thing and I just didn't have one yet. But I know a lot of the photos going backwards at this point of time are kind of blurry, not great quality. So sorry about that. But I definitely want to record these memories. This again is when Benoit and I were training some of the younger horses, some of the 4-year-olds that aren't in the show yet, and doing some desensitization, some groundwork. And so to the left here, you have Benoit and Tio Pepe. He's just kind of sniffing some of the, I forget, I can't remember what those blocks are called, but they kind of set little jumps up. I can't believe I'm forgetting what that word just left my brain. Any horse people will know what those are called though, but you just kind of let them investigate those, and then we did a little bit of like low jumps and stepping over the pole and just kind of some groundwork with him. And then the photo to the right, excuse me, it's kind of dark, but that's me and Tio Pepe. So after Benoit worked with him for a little bit, he kind of let me try a couple different things. So it was fun. Usually I just watch Benoit work with these horses, which is always a joy. But today he wanted me to have my try at doing a couple of the different exercises that he does with these horses. So he took a picture of me and Tio Pepe while I'm working on him stretching his neck and giving me his head and all sorts of other things that we do when we work with them on the ground. So yeah, this was a fun story. I definitely wanted to record it. There's a lot of photos of that I'm scrapbooking during this time of Ben while working with the horses, but this is the one photo I have of me working with them. So had to record that for sure. But I just have them staggered like that. Here's that banner I decided to use. That's just the B side of the pink striped paper, but I just wanted to stick with this color scheme and kind of keep this monochromatic pink and gray thing going. So that's my banner, and now I just want to pull that same pattern down to the bottom corner too, because I'm trying to make sure all these colors and patterns are balanced from the top of the page down to this bottom right hand corner. The bottom right hand corner is where the sketch has the title, so I definitely want to have my title there as well, but I want to make sure all these papers are balanced before I kind of go into that. So I'm just adding this last little banner here, just so that pattern is represented. And this is all the paper layers from the sketch, so I'm pretty much going to stick with that. Now I want to work on the circle stitch detail that's in the sketch, and I'm pretty much just going to put these circles exactly where they were in the sketch. I'm using my nested dies as guides and templates for me to pierce my holes so I can make sure these circles are as clean as possible. So I have these two sizes I picked out, and now I'm just getting my piercing set so I can pierce all of these holes to do the stitching. I didn't want these circles to move around though once I started piercing, so I'm just sticking them down with some washi tape. And the photos do cover parts of the circle, so I'm just trying to mask off where those photos are so I don't do extra stitching that's going to be covered. I am going to go a little bit past the photo just to make sure the circle looks continuous. But yeah, here I am. I'm just going around and piercing holes all the way around the circles. I don't know exactly how far I spaced them. I'm pretty sure it's about 1/4 inch. But I just try to eyeball it and keep the stitches as equal distance as possible. So there's one circle. You can see all my little holes there. And now I'm doing circle number 2. I decided just to do some white thread. I love the way white thread looks on layouts doing stitching, especially when it goes on white. Like white on white is so pretty, and I don't do that very much. And I used to hand stitch a lot more, and I haven't done that in a while either, so I definitely wanted to do literal hand stitching when I saw the detail on the sketch, so I was very happy to get to do that again. Usually stitching hurts my hand, but there wasn't a terrible amount on this layout, so I was okay doing it. But I'm just getting my white thread together, threading my needle, and then I will skip forward here in a little bit. I won't make you watch me do all of the stitching, but I'll kind of show you. I just tie a knot at the end of the thread. I did a back stitch during through this whole thing, so all the stitches look very uniform and neat, which I love. The back of this page actually looked really cool, like the back's part of the stitching. I wish I kind of showed you because it was actually really pretty, and I almost wish that was the front of the circle, how the stitching looked on the back. But it still looks good, just it's normal back stitch. So I'm just going to go around this whole circle doing a back stitch. And I'll cut here in a minute, and ta-da, they're both done, and I'm going to glue down the photos. So I just love that stitching detail. It's so pretty. I love this kind of cleaner page, and I haven't done a page like this in a minute, so I was super happy when I saw it because I thought it was perfect. And I wanted to call this my turn because this is essentially about it being my turn to train the horses. I didn't really have the letters I needed in the thickers I wanted, so I did have to turn an L into a T with this gray, and then I didn't have an M or a Y. I could have cut one. I could have used a W and an X and trimmed it into an M and a Y, but I really wanted to incorporate pink into my title as well. So I found these really sweet Martha Stewart felt alphas, and so I'm doing my with this really soft pink, which I think is nice. It adds a really lovely texture to the page as well. But this alpha sheet also has a bunch of little felt pink hearts on them, so I figured I could use those as my ephemera as well, or my embellishment. So you can see I'm kind of going to trickle these hearts around the page, basically in lieu of enamel dots or Nuvo drops. I'm just going to use these little felt hearts. So I have that there. I decided to go ahead and do my journaling really quick. The sketch has the journaling on a little journaling spot, but I decided just to journal along the top of the pink strip within that upper circle because I didn't have a whole lot I needed to say. So I'm just color matching a pink, and all I write is today was my turn to train, Tio Pepe, and a bunch of little doodly hearts because I wanted to remember which horse this was. There's a lot of gray horses with Cavalia. And even though they all look very different, I want to make sure I record who is who, because I don't know how long I'll remember who is who, in a couple years. So I just wanted to make sure that was recorded. And then I'm back with these adorable little horse wood veneer that Shadney got me. Shadney, I'm sorry, I can never say your name. I don't know how to pronounce it. I hope I'm not butchering it. But I love these little horse wood veneers she sent me. And I decided to paint them gray because I didn't want to introduce a brown tone, since this page is very gray and pink. I kind of wanted to stick to the cooler tones, so I'm just going to paint these wood veneer gray. I didn't have a gray paint apparently. I'm sure I do, and I just I couldn't find it. But I just decided to mix a white and a black to get a gray, and this gray matches pretty good, so I was happy with that. But I'm just going to paint these really quick, just so they're in my color scheme. There we go. Takes me a second just to smooth out the paint, but I love altering wood veneer. I love the way raw wood veneer looks. I prefer to use it raw, but when it comes to a page where that color is kind of clashing with the color scheme, I don't let it deter you from using wood veneer, because you can use inks and paints and all sorts of different things to alter them to be the color that you need. And I love doing this with acrylic paint especially. So I'm letting those dry a little bit. And then I'm going to have this little one down by my title, and then I'm going to have the larger one up in the upper left-hand corner. So these horses are kind of framing the page on the diagonal. So that one goes, and then I'm just going to add a couple more felt hearts on this page, just so that color and that texture is elsewhere, and it kind of helps the embellishment, because that's all I'm going to do. I'm really trying to keep this one simple and clean and more like my older style of scrapbooking. So that's really sweet, and that's pretty much it. The close-ups are here in a minute. Make sure you check out everyone else playing along with the sketch today. If you love watching sketches, make sure you check out everyone else who's playing along all month long. I know I've only done a couple, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.